morning. So, for the second time, so let's talk about building successful businesses in this day and age. Every single board of directors is out there telling their management teams, you guys need to go through a digital transformation. This is the #1 best-selling consulting engagement for Accenture, in McKinsey, and all of the smart companies out there that do strategic consulting, because the world is absolutely changing. There's an explosion of data. So what is digital transformation? Well, we think there are two, as I said earlier, core attributes of a digital transformation initiative. The first is that you have to put the customer back at the center of your business. And the second is the real-time mandate, which I'll talk about. So what does this customer at the center thing mean? Well, this is not a new idea. When I was 5 years old, I grew up in South Miami, and my grandfather and I used to walk down to Joe's News, which was about 100 yards down from his apartment. And we'd walk in, and Joe was there behind the counter, and he knew my granddad, and he knew what he smoked, he knew what he read. So Joe knew us. That was old school. And today, you walk into a store, and the person behind the counter won't even make eye contact, right? But what we're trying to get back to is that Joe's newsstand experience, right? Where you feel like the company you're engaging with in the digital or physical world knows you, understands you, and can offer you things that are contextually relevant to what you're interested in. Who does the best job of this out there? Company we all love to hate because they're supposedly going to put everybody out of business. And yet, my daughter has an apartment 1 floor above a CVS pharmacy, but she orders toothpaste from Amazon. Because it's free delivery, Dad. Why would I walk downstairs? These guys have done an amazing job of listening to us and capturing all the data about us, and then giving us voice interfaces and push buttons and just making everything convenient, understanding what we want when we want it. And Jeff Bezos is the shining example of putting the customer at the center of your business. And he says that in every single meeting at Amazon, there's a customer in an empty chair. They put that empty chair around the table, and what's good for the customer? What does the customer want? So the first strategic mandate is putting the customer back at the center of your business. The second is what we call the real-time mandate. I like what Joe said. There's not a lot of value in dumping all your data into a data lake that's just going to sit there, right? We believe the velocity of your data needs to be greater than or equal to the velocity of your desired business process. And your desired business process better be to engage with your customers in real time in this day and age, or you're going to have some serious issues, because that's what all the forward-thinking companies are doing. You cannot target my same 24-year-old daughter on her mobile phone based on what she was thinking about 24 hours ago. Doesn't work. You've got to get her at the point in time when she's thinking about something on that device. How do you do that? You gather data. You define rules. The if-then kind of flow that Jerry was talking about that can take action, that can do it all in real time. So, if we agree that those are the two mandates, put the customer at the center and operate in real time, what does that mean for your company, for your technology, for your data, and for your security and governance? Well, let's talk about your organization first. This is what the average company today is struggling with. We got a web team and a mobile team that report up to the CIO or the CTO. We've got an email marketing team that reports up to the CMO. We've got a business intelligence team that reports up to the CFO. We have a call center that might report to the head of sales or might report to the CFO, might report to the CIO, depending on how the company views support. How many people work in large companies that have this kind of organization today, right? And what this creates is a huge problem of siloed organizations that select different technology platforms that create silos of data, silos of customer insight. So to truly put the customer back at the center of your business, you actually have to reorganize your company. And this is really, really hard to do, right? You need a team that is focused on customer experience across the digital and physical spectrum. And, you know, this is why this is a board of directors level conversation. I sit on 3 boards, and every single company is having this conversation right now. Because it means you've got to change titles, change the way people have been doing things, and your organization has to realign around the customer experience. And if you do not, you will struggle. So that's what it means for the organization. What does it mean for your technology? Well, we believe you have to have the ability. Every single company is a snowflake. You each have different products, different customers, different geographies, and you need to be able to select a best of breed mix of vendors from the 3,487 vendors that Jerry talked about that are the best for your business and help you optimize your business. And that group of vendors, that stack, that customer experience stack, must be able to interoperate and share data and take action in real time. Right? Now, this is, of course, a Telium commercial because we're the blue bar at the bottom. We're the guys that humbly just try to connect everyone and take the friction out of data flow and make this possible. And we did start in the sort of MarTech, AdTech space, but we've listened to our customers over the last 4 years, and we tried to complete the data supply chain so that we can also feed the business intelligence solutions and the data warehouse solutions, because we think of your businesses as, you know, needing a data supply chain from the point of data creation where the customer interacts with you through the customer experience where it gets consumed by applications based on rules that you define as you create a story for your customers, and then into the customer insight system so that you can get all of this data in real time into your systems of insight and learn in real time and then feed things back. Now, what does that sound like? Right? I mean, who here is talking about machine learning and AI within the 4 walls of your company? Probably everyone is talking about it. The 3 board level mandates are: you must digitally transform, you must figure out how to use AI for our business, and you must remain secure, cybersecurity. That's literally, you know, every board of directors around the world is talking about those 3 things. So we simply believe you need to have a real-time data supply chain to feed the customer experience, to go into your insight system, and you guys are going to do all this wonderful stuff with AI and machine learning and to feed that, and we'll talk about that a little bit in a minute. So that is the Telium's Universal Data Hub. So your data, you should be able to pick a best-of-breed solutions to optimize your business. You should have a neutral data platform, and it should all operate in real time. And that real-time piece is really, really hard. So that's what it means for your organization. That's what it means for your tech stack. What does it mean for your data? And make no mistake, data is different from technology, right? Data is information that is transferable and transportable. So what's going on in data? We have an explosion of data sources. Jerry talked about this earlier. This is a slide I used for Telium's internal company meetings where we talk about how many data sources our customers, you guys, now have to collect information and gather insight about what your customers and prospects are interested in. And it's truly overwhelming, right? I mean, it's not just the 3,487 digital marketing and ad tech vendors that you can work with, right? Those are really kind of outbound systems. You send actions out and maybe you collect data back. But there's all these other systems that you need to fuel this same data platform with so that you can collect information from the smart home, the smart car, and all the IoT things that you can put out in your stores and your sports venues. All of that data also needs to be combined with all of this data, that your first-party data that you have. And maybe you want to bring in weather data, and maybe you want to bring in sports scores. So if you're in Boston and the Patriots win the Super Bowl, you want to push a mobile push message to all your customers in the New England geo, right? 5% off Doritos if you like the commercial or something like that. Or it's, hey, it's going to rain. Our customers, Patagonia, REI, Eddie Bauer, LL Bean. It's going to rain tomorrow. 5% off the rain galoshes. Never rains in San Diego or LA except for the last 180 days straight. So we have an explosion of data sources, which creates a massive technology problem, but it also creates a massive opportunity if, as Jerry talked about, we know how to handle it, or if we have a platform that can handle it. What does it mean for your data? I said this earlier. It means your velocity of data has to be greater than or equal to your desired business process. So if you want to engage with your customers with real-time context and real-time insight, you can't do it with batch file feeds that stream in at 4 a.m. from 20 different vendors that then funnel into Hadoop, and then you piece Humpty Dumpty back together again, and then you try to send out ads based on what people were doing yesterday, right? That is kind of the state of the art today prior to having a real-time platform. And it's better than nothing, but it's absolutely not optimal for the future, especially, instead of the 20 vendors, now you have 200 because you got all these data sources that you can collect about your customer that I just showed you. So what does it mean for your data? It means data needs to flow without friction. You should not have to hire a software engineer to write code to share data between two of your vendors that you select out of that best-of-breed group that's best for your business. You should be able to log in and do it, with an analyst-level employee. It should work in real time. You need to be able to fire off rules in real time that look at a real-time flow of data and take action in real time. It has to work across every touch point, right? I mean, don't leave the call center out of it. We got the web, we got mobile, we have people walking into stores. When someone calls, in many cases, a lot of you guys have if you're a B2C business, you have a two-tier distribution model. And we had a company in having an executive briefing with Telium a month ago, and they sell stuff through the Apple Store, through the Verizon Store, and they don't know who their customers are until the customer either registers for a warranty, which nobody ever does, or calls into the call center and says, hey, I've got this problem. Well, that is your first opportunity to get to know your customer if you're a two-tier distribution. And what a great opportunity, right? So don't think of the call center as a cost center. Think of it as a sales opportunity to know your customer. So you have to have this data flowing across every touch point. And then the last point is machine learning ready. So Telium is not an AI company. We're not an ML company. We are what I call an AI enabler, right? These algorithms that everyone is talking about and that Google and Amazon are commoditizing by exposing them on the web through APIs, these have been in textbooks for 30, 40 years, right? These are not new algorithms. And they've become a commodity. So you're not going to differentiate yourself based on what algorithm you use strategically. You're going to differentiate yourself by what data you choose to put into the algorithms, and then by how quickly and through how many channels you can engage a customer based on suggestions that come from those algorithms. So we're an AI enabler. We give you the ability to condition that data, select the data elements you want. Of, let's say, 500 elements in your data layer, you might pick the 26 that have the highest signal. That's what you want to put in, and you've got to do a bunch of testing to figure out what does have the highest signal, the highest value, and then actions come out, right? So that's what it means for your data. So let's talk about what these two strategic mandates mean for your governance and for your security. This is not a joke, right? GDPR isn't just something that you can worry about later. If you have any people using your app or on your website that are European citizens, you are required by law to follow these rules. Like the guy, like Jerry said, they were going to arrest him in Germany, right? And that was like 15 years ago. So there are now fines. Vendors are getting fined. Technology vendors are getting fined. Companies are getting fined. This is very serious stuff, and you cannot gloss it over. You have to, A, understand the rules, and they are flowing across the Atlantic, right? So Europe is very stringent, and the U.S. is, getting more stringent, but maybe a little less with the current administration. But trust me, it's flowing this way. And you have to abide by privacy regs. You have to have the right kind of data governance. And if you do not, there's serious implications. So the real-time mandate and put the customer at the center mandate, that is, in our view, what digital transformation is all about, as every company grapples with this and how to compete with Amazon, right? And what does that mean for your tech stack? It's got to be open, best of breed for you. What does it mean for your data? It has to be real time. And we're here to obviously help you with all that. So thank you very much. That's the end of my very small Tealium commercial. I appreciate you